Hello, my name's Duncan and welcome to Back Away from the Donkey and Bath Books. And I'm here for another tag, and the tag is the Confessions tag. I was tagged by Al over Big Al Does Booktube, and so go and visit his, go and give his channel some love. It's a great channel. And it was originally, so I've got my notes, I have to have notes. Book Reviews with Becky is the channel that originally did this tag. So I will link to her tag, channel down below, so please go and give her some love as well. And we have 9 in this Confessions tag, and I'm going to start with, what is an unpopular book opinion preference you have? Not sure it's unpopular or anything, but 2 things. Grimdark and YA, they're not genres. Okay? They're not genres. Grimdark, for one reason, people have been doing morally grey characters in fantasy for decades and generations. So the fact that you've come up with one doesn't mean it's a new genre. And YA is just, it's just a sales thing, isn't it? Grimdark, it's just they want to classify everything in this thing, but books aimed at juveniles, like Highland Juveniles is a good example, existed, but they weren't like categorised they are. Like what people categorise as YA is just really peculiar. So yeah, it's not really a genre, it's just a marketing ploy. So yeah, don't know if they're unpopular or not, but that's my opinions on them. Neither Grimdark nor YA are proper book genres. I feel it will come to me. Okay. 2, has your reading taste changed over the years? It probably has, but I still read a lot of similar sort of science fiction stuff. I do read a little wider, I guess, but I always read science fiction classics, anything I could find too. So I've always been, sounds really pompous of me, but quite wide read. I just like to stick with stuff I like, but yeah, so it probably has. No, I just really can't. Probably somebody who's watched me over the years might be able to tell me more than me, but that's as good as you can get from me today. So question 3. What genre do you read to get out of book slump? Normally science fiction or fantasy, because those are my sort of, science fiction especially is my sort of fallback one that I love and always go back to, so yeah, that's probably what I would do. Okay, what are some automatic authors you buy? The problem is there's very little modern stuff I buy. Well, probably a bit more. So I haven't really got any automatic authors in sort of newish authors. But you know, if I see books by old authors that are deceased and are out of print and stuff, people like Asimo, Philip K. Dick, Brian Aldiss, I will pick up most. If I haven't got copies of stuff, I will pick up most things from them. Philip Jose Farmer, just all the sort of classic-y people. But yeah, nothing particularly exciting, nothing particularly modern that I would automatically pick up a book by or run out to say, okay, this author's publishing this, I must buy this. I'm afraid there isn't anything. I find a lot of modern science fiction, which obviously is my main genre that I read around, I find it rather dull and missing the point. Occasionally I disprove it, but that's my thing. And a lot of fantasy I find overdone, which I don't think explains what I mean. One day I'll do a video about it, what I mean by that, but I do read some bits, but hey ho. So now, how many chances do you give an author before you won't try them again? It depends. I don't totally give up on them, because there's some books you like, some books you won't like, and it depends whether they're sort of the idea of their output or something about them interests me. If you see the recent Arthur C. Clarke books I've been reading and the stream of videos about Make Me Love Arthur C. Clarke, he's an author that I have always struggled with, but I think I should like. And so there's another video for that series coming out at the back of the week, but it's worth having a look there. And I've spent decades trying to reread him, so I give people lots of chances. So yeah, next one. Do you have anything you like to do to listen while you read? I normally like to go into silence, because things irritate me. I've got some hearing issues. When I was younger, I was a mixture of industrial deafness when I used to be a printer in a former life, and also going to see too many ridiculously loud bands. You know, when you come out of a gig and your ears are ringing for 3 days, you've damaged your hearing. And apparently what happens is that the hairs inside your ear, weirdly, as much as you have problems hearing at certain frequencies, the other thing you do is you end up picking up little noises a lot more. And I find I have that issue sometimes. So I actually have some ear defenders I wear sometimes while reading, if silence and things are annoying me. 2 seconds, I'll have to do a quick cut here and I'll go and show them. Back. I've got them here. Ear defenders. I did a little video about them a while ago. These are really tough industrial ones. They cut out most things. And a lot of the time, especially late at night or early in the morning when there's not much noise around, so I'm more likely to pick up tiny little noises that will just take me out of stuff. I sometimes wear these. So I sit there reading a book with these on. And I may look like a bit of a plonker, but hey, it works for me. So yes, that's a bit of a weird thing I do. So yeah, I am getting to the point that I think probably in the near future I will need to get some hearing aid of some sort, but at the moment I don't know, I need to go and see somebody really. But yes, that's the sort of issues I have. Weirdly, as much as I have higher end, my hearing's a bit shot. At the really quiet end I pick up some noises more. But yeah. So yeah, and then question 7. How far do you read before DNF'ing? Well, I don't DNF. I don't. The last book I DNF'd was probably 20-30 years ago. Even if I severely hate a book, I will finish it because it's the same way that I will watch most films, even though I don't like them, because then how can I comment on something unless I've seen the end of it? And I've had numerous books that have come together at the end, numerous books that haven't. So, yeah, I'm an example. It's an audiobook, but I'm listening to The Long Walk by Stephen King at the moment, and I'm about 70% of the way through it, and I must admit, I don't like it. And if I was a DNF type person, I probably would have given up on it, because I don't think it's a good book at the moment, unless something happens towards the back end of it. But it's worth me persevering, because you never know what's going to happen at the end. Which is why I don't generally DNF. The only time I would is if a book seriously offends me in a maybe sort of disgustingly sexual content or something, or just brutal. But yeah, generally I don't DNF. Next question. Do you ever find yourself making the same faces as the characters in the book? I don't think so. That's quite a weird question, isn't it? Is it just me? Because I'm not there to act out what they do. But yeah, it's a weird question. Rereading. Yes, no. Well, it depends, yes, but why would you not reread? There's two things. One, you pick up stuff that you never read the first time through. You might have missed it because of the way you're reading, and you pick up themes and metaphors that you didn't originally see. And the other thing, sometimes books, it's like going back to an old friend, and it's just like a little comfort blanket. So I get confused when people say they don't reread. I find it really, really strange, but we all are different. We all like stuff differently. And yes, I know there's loads of books I've got to read, but I like going back to some old favourites. And there's certain books I reread every few years or quite often. But there's a reason those books are sort of in my favourites list, because they are good enough to reread. You know, how dull would life have been if I'd only read Tolkien once and hadn't reread it numerous times? How dull would that be? But yes, so that was the tag, and I said I was tagged by Al and Book Reviews with Becky, which I don't actually know her channel, so I'm going to pop across and see her myself, and I think you all should do. And I will try and tag people at the bottom. I sometimes forget and I sometimes don't, but I will tag and put this up. But I will speak to you all very soon. I am going to record another video. So if you see numerous videos of me looking exactly like this, that's why. Anyway, I will speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.